and the money that I was thinking about said, I want to buy a farm. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll buy a farm, right? So rather than, just putting what you want, your call and your tall order, like really tune in. What does that money come in? Where does it want to go? And if you get in that habit, you're going to watch how the magnetics really turn on to the next level. You also have, go ahead.
I just have a question. Making a plan for money, are we going to go further into that? My follow-up question is, if not, then is it similar to manifestation in that you need to be extremely specific, or is it better to be more general, or is that dealer's choice?
I find that if you do specific and it's not like your order of little self, but you keep tuning in, that's the righteous, I'm like, God align, God I am, and are these the details? Yes, and those details, and then I might even add on in that or better, or that, or what is aligned.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. So circulation, it wants to circulate. We talked about that, right? It doesn't want to sit around. But it wants to circulate where it's going to grow. So investments, buying land, investing in yourself, if you don't have the wardrobe that you feel, it makes you feel like, woo, like buy a few outfits that make you feel like the billionairess you are. Because truly, we'll also add in, you are a billionaire in credit. Everybody is. Your SESQ trust, you have 2 of them. They are billions. You can look it up to see how much your Social Security number and your birth certificate number, how much they've been traded upon, and how much money you actually have access to. You just have to learn how to access it. But again, that's a middle path.
SESQ?
The SESQ trust.
S-E-S.
It's Latin.
Oh.
Those are like, checkbooks. And you use them every time you put your Social Security number on a piece of paper. You have a big bank account. It's just credit. This essentially is still just like credit, okay? Yeah. It's all, because it's, again, creation's already finished. This is part of the story. For me, and my hand in it, we started around ascension circles 13 years ago, breaking all this stuff apart. Here we are. We're finally there 13 years later. It's okay. It's take a while. It's not really a long time when you look at eternity. But yes, it's coming to light. I'm bringing this to light. You're bringing this light. So you can move any of those unconscious bindings so that you're easier to play with this, and that we don't have, I had to work through, and maybe you all will too, I had to work through a lot of anger around it. I would like cry my eyes out for humanity of the things I was seeing. I'm like, what? I had to find my hand in it, forgive myself, and then, cleanse, clear, release anything that would keep me triggered by it and hanging on to anger about it, because then I'm missing out on it getting to play here, right? So are you guys willing to release any unconscious, subconscious belief systems, bindings, anything that's keeping you from your wealth, your currency, your ability to play here and love and work with all the light particles that we call money?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Right. Beyond. Good. So I just want to share. Coming. Anything else?
No, it's just interesting to me because, a long time ago I heard somebody who said to me, that which is about to leave screams the loudest.
Yes.
And it seems like the more our consciousness grows about this, the more the other, that I don't want to concentrate on is getting really like,
yeah.
So
and that's the threshold. So the old version screams, and the new version just holds space and still brings things to light. And then you take a nap, or you take a walk, or you go to sleep tonight, and things get better if you allow them to get better. Because again, we're each projecting reality from our own projector station. And so each time you become wind of certain things, it speeds things up. Things that need to collapse become visible. And then things that need to be an upgrade, because you're like, oh, that would be awesome if this is the way it was now. And then because you're sitting at source seat with this kind of wisdom and clarity, then you can project not only for you, not selfish, but for selfless reasons. You will project for all and be a world builder. And it's already happened. It seems like, yes, you're like putting it forward, but it's already there. You're just getting lined up to it So you can actually walk on that plane, that higher plane of existence. The Sescu Trust, again, so you are, what I wanted to bring that up about mainly is because that helped me build belief of saying I'm a 400 billionaire-ess. So even though it took me some time to really get that wisdom and clarity around what the Sescu Trust is, meaning it's when you are born, you get $1 million. When you get a birth certificate, they put $1 million in your Sescu Trust in the public, and a second $1 million in the private. So there's 2 bank accounts for each of them, and then the government trades on that money that's in that bank account for your birth on the stock market. So that's how it gets up to billions. And then the Social Security card, same thing. Social Security card, you get $1 million. I think it was before a certain year, it was a little bit less money that they put.
75, they changed it for a birth certificate.
Yeah.
It's less than $1 million after 1975.
Yeah, I was thinking, yep. And then the Social Security card, the same thing. And even if you get several Social Security cards or several birth certificates, sometimes you need another copy of it. They keep putting $1 million in as well. And I'm just putting an average on there, as well as if you've got a college degree, if you were in the military, every time you do certain things, they put more money in. And so that keeps getting traded upon. So you really can't own and not be like, just kind of like, oh, I'm faking it. I'm a billionaire-ess or a billionaire. But really own that. You're a billionaire in credit. Okay? That'll help you with believability so that you can strengthen belief systems and affirmations that you say. You were going to say something.
I was just going to ask you where you said, you referenced this earlier, where to find these amounts?
It's like GUI or something like that. Just try to look it up.
Okay.
It's a website. You can put in your routing numbers and account numbers and look up how much.
I was able to figure it out on Fidelity.
Yeah, Fidelity as well.
I found 2 accounts and had like 25 million in each of them.
Yeah.
We'll revisit this later.
Yeah.
Super rich.
You're super rich.
Cool.
So that's the middle ground. You're super rich in the earthly plane of money, right?
Yeah.
Which will just help you really take ownership that when you're working on your embodiment and you're working on these bigger, callings and blueprints, that, at the highest plane, you just think it and you have heart mind coherence about it, and it is. It's going to come forward because you have self-worth. You're going to allow it to come forward in self-love. And you're not just not being who you came here to be, right? We all came here to be. We have gifts and talents, and we have value to give. So when you align your, spiritual wealth and give the value that you have to give, and that might mean you're like a value generator. You have a new bright idea every day. You're driving, you got 100 ideas for people, and other people might be receiving them in the ether on the bigger mind, but you at least are doing one. If you're really good at growing vegetables and you're doing it, you're living that billionaire life value step point that can allow, when you put tall orders in, that's the righteousness piece. You're putting the tall orders in, meaning you're getting them from the most high version of you. And because you're walking with your feet on the ground and doing the things that you came here to do in that now moment, then it will all come into alignment. But when you're not giving your value, I find that you're just putting that big boulder in the stream and keeping the money from coming to you. So make sure you're giving. It does not have to be your value that you give. Doesn't have to, there's no logic. Doesn't have to equate the amount of money you're calling in. So don't try to how many hours do I have to do that thing to get $1 million? Yes, we're going to talk about, there's a formula. Again, there's practical aspects that you can do. You can sell a $20 book, 10,000 times and, make $1 million. But it's beyond logic, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is this is magnetic. There's a magnetic strip in here. Okay?
Really?
That's
Yes.
magnetic.
That's cool.
There's a magnetic strip in here. It used to be programmed to that all money comes to me, right? You are a money magnet, right? We were working with the money magnet piece at the dome, and I was bringing the rent for the geodesic dome that we rented when we closed this place down over COVID. And I go to the bank where the landlord wanted us to bring the cash, and I'm like, I'm a money magnet. I got like money magnet playing in my car because it was just that time of the reality that we were playing with all this. And I'm standing there in line, and I get up, and the lady has a stack, like she's changing drawers or something, or like changing shifts. The money goes everywhere towards the glass at me. She's like, I don't know what just happened. I'm like, well, I'm a money magnet. So, I mean, it's real, okay? Okay. So let's look at, before I go too far, you don't have to have a ton of answers to this, but I think sitting with meditation about some of your money story, and I'll send you, everybody here, a little PDF. But I want you to think about some of these questions. What beliefs did your mother have about money? What's the first thing that comes up?
It's hard to come by.
Okay, just write those down. Just like kind of the first thing that comes up. And if it's, you want to do, if things are front and center, like you just are almost thinking it into place, awesome. But also listen deeper. Like what's sitting in the subconscious that, like, if you give it a little bit of space and ask, my consciousness, what did my mother think about money? And you could do a think and a feel. So you could say, what did she think and what did she feel? And when we're thinking and feeling, there's belief or believe about money. And then after you get that, do the natural order, do father. What did your father think, feel, and believe? Good. And then go ahead and just stop on that. You can always go deeper, but I want you to look at each one and I want you to ask within, is that true? Is that, so you can ask like your higher self or something.
Is that true in
for you?
What way?
Is this true for you? Is this something that you want to keep? Is this true? If it's not true, you can use a word like delete. We're clearing and deleting this right now from all levels of consciousness. I'm going to call it a big clearing statement in a minute. I just want to see if you can get like...
I'm not getting anything on any of them.
Okay.
So
yep.
Just let it be until something comes through.
Yeah. Just want to see. So, this is what we're doing. We're digging into our subconscious. Again, the first answer you're going to hear, sometimes it is you thinking. That's more conscious. But if you leave some space, you're going to let some subconscious or unconscious rise its head. And we just want to understand that typically those mother-father codes could be still sitting in our subconscious and no longer beneficial for us. They're not serving us. And so just by being aware, that's awesome, because you can catch yourself when that type of belief system's coming up and you're going to do some of these things we're talking about around like practical terms of money magnetism and spiritual terms. But if it's not serving you, clear, cancel, delete, dissolve, dismantle, anything and everything on every level of my reality that in any way that's hindering my ability to be rich or wealthy, be of service in higher ways, accumulate wealth, circulate money, I now give permission to dissolve, dismantle, release. Say I if you're willing to do that.
Aye.
I haven't said that one in a long time. Okay. Good. And is that complete? No. So do you want them to do that? Yeah. So just go around, because something might stimulate for you. And again, if we'll do one more clearing statement after we've brought it up again, because the energy rises, right? When we speak about something or think about something, or we witness another. So by each of us sharing, we're getting to like witness another. You've been at a store and you're like, what are they doing? You know, you're like watching something and you're like, you know, you're seeing behind the curtains of people's lives what's happening with their behaviors. So what did any of be able to receive? So the thing with receiving as well is, like we talked about earlier, your psyche has to know what it's going to receive for. Like, what are you going to do with that receiving? You know, where's it going to go? Like, we ask the money, where do you want to go? What do you want to purchase? What do you want to invest in? But the more you have these blueprints, well, I guess I can do that. I was trying to see you better, Susie. I feel like I'm late.
I know, I'm leaving.
Where, you know, when you have this big opening to receive, how's it gonna flow? Right? Are you gonna invest in yourself, invest in your business? If you're asking for $1 million, can you allot that $1 million? I have a vibrational spending book out there that I had created on one of my books. And, you know, Catriel got one the other day and he's sitting there like, God, I don't even know how to like spend all this money. You know, like, what do you buy? Right? Because every other page of the journal, like one day you get 1,000, the next day you get 10,000, the next day you get 20,000, and it keeps going up and incremental to see if you can even know how to spend money every day. If you don't know how to spend money and you're calling it in, you know, there's something missing there. You need to be able to like know what you're going to do with it, play with it.
This is a book you have out here.
There might be one left. Yeah.
I think there is one left.
Okay.
Gracie, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so let me just make sure I can get all through this because we're almost done. What does money want you? We did that. Gifts and talents. Everybody, you were born with gifts and talents. Some of you have like a bucket load that you're aware of. Some of you may think you're already done. Yeah, I figured them out. But maybe there's more. You know, so like that's a good question. Ask that within. Am I fully aware of all my gifts and talents? I got a big no.
I don't know.
If you are, awesome. You know, like, are you giving those? Are you giving them to the capacity that you're meant to give them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is part of our ability to be able to open your own blissness, your business, have it be successful is awesome. But the next level is to be able to, you know, have a team, right? Can you work with a team? Right? So there's different levels of your gifts and talents that you need to like step into. You know, I'm working on that. Like my next levels is the teamwork piece.
Can you say that one more time? Am I giving my gifts to the capacity
That you're meant to give them.
Thank you.
Like you might have been, doing sessions, but now you're meant to open a school, or now you're meant to start training others rather than doing the sessions. Maybe you're supposed to write a book next. There's just different pieces of the puzzle that have, the next level of your receiving to come in as you're giving those gifts and talents. Self-worth, self-love, I think I got that across, right? Like, it's so important. You could do, the first 10 minutes of your day, I highly suggest be around self-love and self-worth. Telling yourself, I love you, like, you're the best, you're amazing, I'm so proud of you. You're, doing the most amazing work on the planet. Even if it's things that you haven't fully occupied yet, like embody it at least with complimenting yourself and adorning yourself with compliments, and then take that to the mirror. Make sure you're like looking at yourself in the mirror. It's so powerful because this reality is a mirror, so it literally will come back to you. When you get sitting at source seat, it will literally happen that day. If you're not sitting at the source projector of your pineal and heart, it may take a day or two or a week, but it has to, the biofeedback of this way this hologram works is it has to come back to you. Yeah, okay. And then millionaire mindset. So, it's fun, like this morning I was gonna, if I came out of out here earlier enough, I was going to leave like, you know, an I am rich playing affirmation on